What's up, everybody? This is Carl from Techful Goodies, and if you are like me, you're always trying to sort of keep your devices charged, sort of make sure that you have power bricks available for everything that you have. So I have something today that's a little bit interesting. This is the XDIGI power bank. This is a 20,000 milliamp hour 100-watt charger. It actually is 130-watt max. But the interesting thing about this is that it kind of checks all my boxes. I'm a big fan of just having the ability to power my devices wherever I'm at. And when it comes to some of these bricks or some of these other power banks that you can get, typically they're underpowered for all your devices. I have laptops that take 100-watt charging. I have laptops/tablets that take 60-watt charging. I have iPads. I have iPhones. So this will cover the gamut of all those devices, and also with the smart display will allow you to see what kind of wattage is being pulled from that device. So let's open it up, take a look at it, test it out, and see if it's something that can kind of keep up with our daily needs. All right, so right away in the box, we have a USB to USB-C cable. Now, not all USB-C cables are the same. What you're gonna wanna do is make sure you use this when you are charging your device. There is no brick provided, I don't think, with this device, and that means you're gonna have to use one that you already own, but it looks like if you have one, it'll use a full range of wattages all the way up to 65 watts max to charge this. So you should be able to use some bricks that you have or pick up another brick that will work for this. The device itself is actually pretty slimline. It is heavy because it is a 20,000 milliamp hour battery. Obviously, if you're thinking about milliamp hours, you're looking at the amount of power that can be stored that you can then pump into your devices. 20,000 is pretty high, so it should be able to power like laptops and tablets with no issue. On the front here, you do have a smart display screen, which is actually something that I really like. You have the power button here to push, which sort of initiates the initial screen here, and you can see that it currently has about 50% charge. And then on the top here, you have a couple of ports. You have two USB-C ports on the front here. One is for in, that's for charging, but it's also an in/out, so you can charge your devices, but that's the one you're gonna wanna plug into when you wanna refill the battery. And it also has another USB-C out, and it has a USB-A out, which is obviously nice. I don't think I'd wanna have a device that also doesn't have the USB-A, but let's go ahead and give this thing a try. So I have this USB 4 cable that I picked up, and so this is considered a 240 watt max cord. One thing I like about this is that it also has like the little digital display that'll show you how much wattage or how much power is being pulled from it. I think I just picked this up on Temu. I can't remember where I got it. And with the digital display on this, we should be able to sort of check and see whether or not it matches up with the digital display on the actual power bank itself. So I also have my Dell Latitude laptop/tablet, which I actually really like. I got it on the Dell refurbished site. And this typically has a charging sort of pull of 60 watts. If I was to use something like a 30 or 40 watt charger, like my Anker 30 watt charger, it's not going to charge this. You're going to get a warning in Windows that says this is a low power and not really going to charge or keep your device going. Something like this is going to be able to power it and keep it topped off while you're using it. So let's go ahead and just jump right in and get ourselves a test with this. So I'm going to plug it into the USB 1 here, USB-C 1. Alrighty, so we've got this plugged in now, and one of the things that you're going to see is that on the front here, there are multiple screens that you can cycle through. So for example, right now I'm seeing that there is about a 50% battery level. That's how much I have left to charge. If I click this button on the front, you're gonna see that it actually shows each one of the ports and what sort of wattage that it's pulling. Now, my particular laptop here isn't super power hungry at this point in time. So it's only pulling 21, 23 watts. And if I look here, you can actually see that the wattage output indicators are pretty much synced up there. So that's one of the things that I absolutely love about some of these power banks is that you can see the wattage that it's pulling. My expectation would have been plugging it in, seeing the full 60 watts being pulled from the laptop, but I'm not seeing that because the laptop kind of determines how much it wants to pull at what particular time, and right now we're only pulling 20 watts. Now, the cool thing about this too is that if I want to also plug in my iPad that I'm using over here to sort of view what my camera's doing, if I plug this in also at the same time, then you're going to start to see the fact that not only is the laptop pulling 25 watts, then the iPad is also starting to pull out power too. And you can see that it's actually now, the iPad sometimes takes a little while to settle on what wattage it wants to pull. But what you'll see is now that we're pushing out about 40 watts of power to be able to charge the laptop and the iPad at the same time. Now, if I wanted to, I suppose I can also take advantage of the USB-A port at the same time. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is plug in the USB-A, and I'm going to plug in my phone. So this is an iPhone 15 Pro, so it does take the USB-C connection. I'll plug that in, and now I'm charging. So let's see what this gets up to. So as you can see here, all three of the ports are being utilized and every one of them is pushing out power to my different devices. How long will this last for? Well, we're already down to about 49%. So any battery that you go ahead and tax pretty much to the limit is really just going to be able to push as much power as it can based on what the devices that you have connected. So you will find that any battery that you use, even a 20,000 milliamp hour, is going to start to discharge pretty quickly, but this power brick is capable of sort of pushing that power out to the multiple devices. Now there are a couple more screens that I can show you here. So if I click this, you're going to come through to sort of like a device informational screen. It'll tell you how much your battery has cycled, how many cycles are left, and the health of your battery. If you go to the next screen, you can actually make this a vertical versus horizontal screen, so it'll flip the screen there. And if we go back out, you will get the full device power. I obviously like to keep it on the screen that's sort of showing me what that device is pushing out to each one of the other devices, so I'll go ahead and leave it on that. So let me go ahead and I want to do another test here. Let me go ahead and unplug all these. So I have another laptop here that I want to test. So this is sort of a small 13-inch laptop that my son was using for school, but the problem with it is that the power brick that came with this device ended up failing. So once your power brick ends up failing, what do you do? In an emergency situation, you don't do anything because you can't charge the device without buying another power brick. But being a USB-C based device, a smaller laptop does actually charge with the USB-C port. Now that he has a broken power brick that came with it, what do? I go ahead and say, hey, why don't you start using this? You can take it with you to school. If you have any power issues, you can go ahead and charge it while you're at school for the entire day. So that should keep him going. So let's go ahead and actually see how this works. So it is charging now. You can see on the front here that the light is on, so it is charging. And let me go ahead and open it up and power it on. And right now it is pulling about 30 watts of power. So that's the 30 watts that it's pulling while it's opening and launching. So again, this one takes a full 60-watt charger, but they don't always use for that full power. This is totally out of battery because it was sitting downstairs and I didn't particularly have something to charge it with, or I wasn't really worried about it at the time. But just plugging it in, pulling 32 watts here, you can sort of see that there is about 32 over here and here also. So you do see that those do complement each other. So you know that the power coming out of there is what it says it is. And now my laptop is up and running, powered, and working great. So you can start to see the power of having one of these sort of bricks around your house. Again, sending my son off to school, I want to make sure he has the appropriate amount of power for his laptop the entire day. Sometimes, you know, if you're using it all day long, you can find that your laptop will start to run out of battery. Having something like this as a backup or even something to charge it with is absolutely priceless. So as far as the features of this charging bank, let me go ahead and read some of them off here. I did say it was a 20,000 milliamp hour battery. Again, that's just basically the amount of juice this thing will hold. It is a 100-watt charger. It has a smart display on the front, which you just click this button to turn it on. It does have the 3 ports on the front, and it is airline safe. So nowadays the airlines are getting a bit picky on what kind of batteries you can bring on. So as long as it's airline safe, that means that, you know, like if I'm going on a 5 or 6 hour flight, I want to bring my devices. Maybe I want to bring like a Steam Deck. Maybe I want to bring my iPad. Maybe I want to bring a laptop. Whatever I want to do, now I have that additional power that allows me to make sure that my device or devices work the entire time. It does have the standard short circuit protection. and the smart output. So whatever device that you're charging, it's not going to send over current to the device. Whatever the device wants, it knows that it's going to sort of pair with that device and send out the right amount of power. And it also doesn't not get that hot. Even when I had 3 devices plugged in, I wasn't feeling a lot of heat coming from this. And I think that that's pretty important too, because you don't want something that you feel is going to burn up or feel super hot. If you're looking at kind of some of the stats, it will charge a MacBook Air to 50% in 30 minutes. So that's a sort of high power output to be able to charge that MacBook. And it will charge an iPhone to 50% in 25 minutes. So you are getting the PD fast charging for whatever you want to hook up to it. So is this power bank from XDIGI worth it? I'm saying absolutely yes. I'm a big fan of having the access to the power that I need when I need it. This one has all the features that I like, including the digital display, the smart charging. It does have a high milliamp hour, so it means it's going to be able to charge those devices that I need and be reliable. Thanks to XDIGI for sending this over for me to share this with you. I appreciate that, because I always like to share things that I feel are really important or something that we will all like. So if you're interested, I will leave the link down below. If this helped you out in any way, hit like, subscribe. I'd love to see you back. But until next time, this is Carl from Technical Goodies, and I'm out.